I'm sitting on the porch of the biggest house in 3 counties, watching my grandsons chase each other around the rose garden I planted 40 years ago. Little Marcus just knocked over a flower pot, again. That boy's got his grandfather's grace, which is to say, none at all. Grandma, tell us a story, Tommy yells, mud on his knees and mischief in his eyes. Story, the others chant, because apparently my grandsons travel in packs like wolves. I shake my head and smile. All right, you little hooligans, but you have to sit still. Can you manage that, or should I just save my breath? They scramble up onto the porch, settling around my rocking chair like it's story time at church, which, knowing these rascals, is the only time they sit still all week. I'm going to tell you something I don't talk about much, I say, looking out at the sprawling ranch that stretches as far as the eye can see. The cattle, the horses, the orchards, the 3 barns, the worker houses, all of it. I'm going to tell you how all this came to be. And it starts with me being hungrier than you boys after Sunday service. They lean in close. Good, they should hear this. When I was your age, well, maybe a bit older, I didn't live in a fancy house like this. I lived in a shack so small you couldn't swing a cat in it without hitting 3 walls. And we were poor. The kind of poor where you count pennies like they're gold coins and pray the roof holds through winter. My name is Margaret Rose Sullivan, but everyone calls me Maggie. And 60 years ago, I thought I'd die in that shack. My mama was the kindest woman who ever drew breath. She had warm brown eyes and hands that were always busy, sewing, cooking, cleaning, anything to keep us fed. My papa, well, he had a fondness for whiskey and running away from responsibility. When I was 6 years old, he left for cigarettes and never came back. Probably thought cigarettes were easier to deal with than a wife and daughter. Mama never badmouthed him. He's just lost, Maggie girl, she'd say. Some people spend their whole lives looking for something they already had. We managed, Mama and me. She took in washing. I helped where I could, running errands for the mercantile for a few pennies here and there. We ate a lot of thin soup and day-old bread from the baker who felt sorry for us. But we had each other, and Mama always said that was worth more than gold. Then came the winter I turned 14. Mama got sick. Started with a cough that wouldn't quit, then the fever came, then she couldn't get out of bed. I tried everything, begged the doctor to come, but he wanted money we didn't have. Asked neighbors for help, but people got real good at not answering their doors when they saw me coming. The town pharmacist was a mean old bird named Mr. Hutchins. I'll never forget standing in his shop, tears running down my face, begging him for medicine. Please, sir, my mama's dying. I'll pay you back. I swear on my life. I'll work it off. I'll do anything. He looked at me like I was a bug on his shoe. Your word ain't worth spit, girl. No money, no medicine. That's business. I scrubbed floors, washed dishes at the hotel, sold every single thing we owned that had any value. Mama's wedding ring, our good dishes, the quilt her grandmother made. Bought 3 bottles of medicine with it. It wasn't enough. Mama died on a Tuesday in March. I was holding her hand when she went. Her last words to me were, "Don't let this world make you hard, Maggie girl. Promise me you'll stay kind. That's how you win, by not becoming like them." I promised, though Lord knows I didn't always want to keep it. After Mama passed, I had 2 choices, starve or survive, and Mama didn't raise a quitter. The only place that would hire a 15-year-old girl with no family and no prospects was the Golden Spur Saloon. Now, don't get your eyes all wide like that, boys. I wasn't doing anything improper. I served drinks, cleaned tables, swept floors, and sometimes sang if the piano player was sober enough to keep time. The owners were a couple named Dutch and Pauline Brennan, mean as snakes, both of them. Dutch had a face like a bulldog chewing a wasp, and Pauline could curdle milk with her scowl. They paid me a quarter of what they should have, $3 a week, when everyone else got $12. But like I said, nobody else would hire me. "You're lucky we're charitable," Pauline would sneer, counting money at the end of the night while I scrubbed vomit off the floor. I smiled and said, "Yes, ma'am," because that's what you did when you had no other options. For 8 years, I lived like that. Worked 6 days a week, dawn to midnight, slept in a tiny room above the saloon that was hotter than hellfire in summer and colder than a witch's heart in winter. ate one meal a day, whatever was left over from the kitchen, got thinner and thinner because left over wasn't much, but I kept Mama's words close, stayed kind, helped other girls when I could, smiled even when I wanted to cry, figured if I could just keep going, something would change. I was 22 years old and starting to think nothing ever would. Then one morning, everything did. It was a Tuesday, same day of the week Mama died, funny enough. I was walking to work just after dawn, the sun barely peeking over the mountains. My stomach was growling something fierce because I'd skipped dinner the night before, saved the bread for my lunch instead. That's when I saw him, a cowboy sitting on the ground with his back against the general store wall. His hat was pulled low, his clothes dusty from travel, and he looked about as miserable as a person could look. Now, I should have walked right past. I had exactly 35 cents to my name, and that had to last me the week. But Mama's voice echoed in my head. "Stay kind, Maggie girl." "You all right, mister?" I asked, stopping in front of him. He looked up, and I got my first good look at his face. Young, maybe 25 or so, strong jaw, dark hair that needed a cut, and eyes the color of a summer sky. Handsome if you liked the rugged type, which I didn't pay much attention to, seeing as I was more concerned about where my next meal was coming from. "Been better," he said, voice rough. "Haven't eaten in 2 days. Came into town looking for work, but nobody's hiring." Something in his voice reminded me of myself, that bone-deep tiredness of trying and getting nowhere. I made a decision that would change my life, though I didn't know it then. "Come with me," I said. "I work at the saloon. Kitchen's not open yet, but I can sneak you something." He blinked at me like I'd spoken Chinese. "You do that for a stranger?" Mama always said hungry is hungry, doesn't matter who's doing the starving. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have possibly known, was that this dusty, hungry cowboy sitting in the dirt was about to turn my entire world upside down, and it would start with 3 biscuits and a cup of coffee. I snuck him in through the back door of the Golden Spur. The kitchen was empty. Cook wouldn't arrive for another hour. I sat him at a small table in the corner and grabbed what I could from the pantry. 3 biscuits from yesterday, some bacon that was getting close to turning, and the last of the morning coffee. "This is your food, isn't it?" he asked, watching me set it in front of him. "Your breakfast." "I'll eat later," I lied. I wouldn't, but he didn't need to know that. He ate like a man who'd forgotten what food tasted like. Didn't inhale it, though. Ate slow and careful, savoring every bite. That told me something about him. Poor folks who'd been hungry before, they didn't waste food by eating too fast and getting sick. "What's your name?" he asked between bites. "Maggie. Margaret Sullivan. Yours?" "Folks call me Cole." "Well, Cole, you eat up, and when you're done, you best move along before my bosses show up. They're not the charitable type." He wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. "Why are you being so kind to me, Maggie?" I shrugged. My mama taught me that kindness is the only thing that doesn't cost money, and since I don't have money, I figure kindness is all I've got to give. Something shifted in his face. He looked at me different then, really looked at me. Not the way men at the saloon looked, like I was decoration or something to grab at. He looked at me like he was trying to memorize my face. "You're different," he said quietly. "Most people in this town see someone down on their luck, they cross the street. You stopped. Why?" "Because somebody should have stopped for me when I needed it," I said simply. "Didn't happen, so I stopped for others. Somebody's got to break the cycle." I turned to clean up the dishes, and that's when I heard the front door slam open. My blood went cold. Dutch's voice boomed through the saloon. "Pauline, get in here! Someone's been in the kitchen!" Oh no, oh no, no, no. Heavy step-foots thundered toward us. I spun around to warn Cole to run, but it was too late. Dutch filled the doorway, and his face went purple when he saw us. "You," he roared, pointing at me, "you're stealing food? Feeding some drifter?" "Sir, I can explain." "Explain? Explain?" He grabbed me by the arm, fingers digging in hard enough to bruise. "You been stealing from me, girl, after everything I've done for you?" Cole stood up fast, chair scraping. "Let her go." Dutch laughed, a mean, ugly sound. "Oh, the beggar's got a mouth. Boy, you best get out before I throw you out." I said let her go. Cole's voice was different now, harder, like steel wrapped in velvet. Dutch yanked me forward, other hand raised to strike. "You're finished here, Maggie. Finished. You're going to do nothing," Cole said, and the way he said it made Dutch stop mid-swing. And that's when I thought I knew about the hungry cowboy I'd fed turned out to be dead wrong. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What happened next? Well, you boys won't believe it. Now, before I tell you what happened in that saloon, and trust me, it's something you'll want to hear, I need to ask you wonderful folks a little favor. If you're enjoying this old woman's story, would you do me the kindness of hitting that subscribe button down below? It helps me share more memories like this one with people who appreciate them. Thank you so much. You're a blessing and a half. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, Dutch was about to hit me, and Cole said something that made him freeze. Cole reached into his vest pocket and pulled out a leather wallet. From it, he produced a card and held it up. Dutch's face went from purple to white in about 2 seconds flat. You're Cole Thornton?" The name meant nothing to me, but clearly it meant something to Dutch. "That's right, Cole Thornton, of the Thornton Ranch, and unless you want me to buy this saloon up under you and throw you into the street, I suggest you let the lady go now." Dutch dropped my arm like it was a hot coal. "Mr. Thornton, sir, I had no idea. I didn't mean—" "You meant every word," Cole cut him off. "You meant to hit this woman who works for you, this woman you've been paying $3 a week for 8 years, when minimum wage is 12. Don't think I didn't notice the ledger on your desk when I walked in." "Wait, when he walked in? How did—" Pauline appeared in the doorway, took one look at Cole, and her face went sheet white. "Oh, my stars, Mr. Thornton!" "Mrs. Brennan." Cole nodded at her, polite as Sunday church. Then his voice went cold. "You've been running quite the operation here. Cheating workers, serving watered-down whiskey at full price. I bought this building 3 months ago. Owns the whole block, actually. Been waiting to see if you'd clean up your act. You didn't." My head was spinning. Cole owned the building? The whole block? "As of right now," Cole continued, "you're both fired. You have 1 hour to clear your belongings. The Golden Spur is under new management." But this is our livelihood," Dutch sputtered. "Should have thought about that before you hit women and cheated honest workers. 1 hour. Then I'm sending the sheriff." They left scurrying like rats off a sinking ship. The kitchen went quiet. I stood there, arm still aching where Dutch had grabbed me, trying to make sense of what just happened. Cole turned to me, and his voice went soft again. "I'm sorry I lied to you, Maggie. You're not a drifter." "No, I'm not." "You're Cole Thornton, the Cole Thornton. Even I knew that name. Wealthiest rancher in the territory. Owned half the cattle in Montana. People said he had a ranch so big you could ride for a day and not see the end of it. I am, but everything else I told you was true. I was hungry. Haven't eaten in 2 days. Not because I don't have money, but because I was testing something." "Testing what?" "People." He pulled out a chair and sat down, gesturing for me to do the same. I did, though my legs felt like jelly. "I inherited my ranch when I was 18, got rich quick, and suddenly everyone wanted to be my friend. Everyone had a kind word, but I could never tell, was it me they liked or my money?" He looked at me with those blue eyes. "So sometimes I dress down, act like I'm nobody, see how people treat me when they think I've got nothing to offer. Most people," he shook his head, "they cross the street, tell me to move along, call me trash. But you," his voice cracked a little, "you gave me your breakfast, the only food you were going to eat today. Didn't ask my name, didn't ask what I could do for you. You just helped." Tears were burning my eyes. "It's what Mama taught me. Your mama raised an extraordinary woman, Maggie Sullivan. She's gone now. Been 8 years. I'm sorry." And the way he said it, I knew he meant it. "What did she tell you about being kind?" "She said to stay kind no matter what. That's how you win, by not becoming like them." Cole smiled. "Smart woman. Listen, Maggie, I know this is sudden. I know we just met, but I've been looking for someone like you for a long time. Someone real. Someone who treats people right because it's right, not because of what they'll get." My heart started beating faster. "What are you saying?"
I'm saying I want to get to know you better, Maggie, the real you. And I want you to get to know the real me, not the rich rancher, just Cole, the man who was sitting against a wall this morning, hungry and tired, and got saved by a woman with a heart bigger than this whole territory. I didn't know what to say. Come with me, he said. Let me show you my ranch. Let me show you how I live. And if you don't like it, I'll bring you right back, no questions asked. But Maggie, please, give me a chance to thank you proper. Give me a chance to show you that not everyone in this world is like Dutch and Pauline. I should have said no. I should have been sensible. But Mama also taught me that sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. And something in Cole's eyes told me this was a leap worth taking.
We left that same afternoon. Cole had a horse tied up 2 blocks away, a beautiful black stallion that probably cost more than I'd earned in my entire life. He helped me up behind him, and we rode out of town. I'd lived in that dusty Montana town my whole life, never been more than 5 miles from Main Street. Watching it disappear behind us felt like waking up from a long, bad dream. "Where's this ranch of yours?" I asked, holding onto his waist as we rode. "About 20 miles north, hidden in the valley between Eagle Ridge and Thunder Mountain." Hidden? On purpose. I like my privacy. Only people who know how to find it are people I want to find it. We rode for 2 hours. The landscape changed from dusty plains to rolling hills to thick forest. Then Cole guided his horse onto a narrow trail I never would have noticed if I wasn't looking for it. We climbed higher. The trail twisted through tall pines, and then we came around a bend, and I gasped. There, spread out in a valley so green it looked like something from a painting, was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen. A huge ranch house, no, a mansion, sat in the center. 3 stories, white wood, wraparound porches, windows that sparkled in the afternoon sun. Around it, neat fences divided pastures where hundreds of cattle and horses grazed. There were barns, stables, a bunkhouse, gardens, orchards, even a small lake. "This is yours?" I whispered. "This is home," Cole said. "What do you think?" I thought I might cry. "It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." "Then welcome to Thornton Ranch, Maggie. Your life's about to change." And oh boys, did it ever change. But not in the way you might think. Cole didn't just give me a room, he gave me a whole suite, bigger than the entire shack I'd grown up in. Had a bed so soft I thought I'd sink through to China, a bathroom with running water and a real porcelain tub, dresses in the closet, all my size, because apparently Cole had sent someone to buy them while we were riding. "How did you know my size?" I asked, standing in the doorway feeling completely overwhelmed. "I'm observant," he said with a small smile, "and I wanted you to have something nice. Everything here is yours, no strings. If you want to leave tomorrow, you can, but I hope you'll stay a while." That first night, I had dinner at a real dining table. Roast beef, potatoes, vegetables, fresh bread, more food than I'd seen in months. I ate until I thought I'd burst, and Cole just watched me with this soft expression. "You don't have to be polite here," he said. "Eat as much as you want. There's always more." After dinner, we sat on the porch. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. "Why me?" I finally asked. "You could have anyone. Why bring a poor saloon worker to your secret ranch?" Cole was quiet for a moment. "You know what it's like, Maggie, to be surrounded by people and still feel alone? Everyone wants something from me. Marriage proposals from women I've never met, business deals from men who smile while planning to cheat me. Everyone's got an angle, except you." He turned to me. "You fed me when you thought I was nobody. That's who you are when there's nothing to gain. That's the person I want to know." Over the next few weeks, I learned who Cole Thornton really was. He was kind to his workers, paid them fair wages, and gave them Christmas bonuses. He knew all their names, asked about their families. He donated money to the church anonymously, helped neighboring farms when they struggled, took in stray dogs and spoiled them rotten. He was also funny, made terrible jokes and laughed at his own punchlines. He sang off-key while working with the horses. He was scared of spiders, which I found hilarious for a man his size. And he was lonely. So lonely. All that wealth, and he had nobody to share it with. We spent long evenings talking. I told him about Mama, about scrubbing floors and saving pennies, about the town pharmacist who let her die. He told me about losing his parents young, about inheriting a fortune he never wanted, about feeling like he was living in a cage made of gold. "Sometimes I think about selling it all," he admitted one night, "just walking away, being nobody." "You can't run from who you are," said I.
Trust me, I tried. What you can do is decide what kind of somebody you want to be. He looked at me for a long moment. You're wise, you know that? I'm 22 years old and was starving 3 weeks ago. I'm not wise. I'm just tired of being scared. You're not scared anymore? I thought about it. Not as much. Hard to be scared when someone's showing you there's good in the world. That's when he kissed me. Soft and gentle, like he was afraid I'd break. I'm falling in love with you, Maggie Sullivan, he whispered. Not because you're grateful, not because you need me, but because when I'm with you, I remember who I wanted to be before the world got complicated. I kissed him back. I'm falling in love with you, too. Not because you're rich, not because you saved me, but because you're the kind of man who sits against a wall and waits to see if anyone still has a heart. 3 months later, he asked me to marry him, right there, on that same porch, sunset painting the sky. I said yes. Not because I had to, not because I needed to, but because Cole Thornton looked at me and saw Margaret Sullivan, Maggie, the girl who gave away her breakfast, and I looked at him and saw Cole, the man who tested the world's kindness and almost lost faith until one Tuesday morning. We've been married 58 years now, got 3 children, 8 grandchildren, including you troublemakers, and a ranch that's grown even bigger than when I first saw it. But you know what? The thing I'm proudest of isn't the fancy house or the cattle or the money in the bank. It's that I kept Mama's promise. I stayed kind. Even when the world tried to make me hard, I stayed soft. And that softness, that's what saved me. Because kindness isn't weak, boys. Kindness is the bravest thing you can be. Your grandpa, well, he tested people because he'd been hurt. But I passed his test because my mama taught me that you help people whether there's anything in it for you or not. You do it because it's right. And sometimes, if you're lucky, doing the right thing brings you more blessings than you ever dreamed. I gave a hungry cowboy 3 biscuits and a cup of coffee. He gave me a life beyond my wildest imagination. But the real treasure? It wasn't the ranch or the money. It was finding someone who loved me for who I was when I had nothing. Someone who saw value in kindness when the world said kindness was foolish. Grandma, asks Tommy, eyes wide, is that really true? All of it? Every single word, I say, ruffling his hair. Your grandpa's in the study right now, probably falling asleep over his newspaper. Go ask him if you don't believe me. They scramble off to interrogate Cole, who will grumble about me telling stories again, but secretly love every second of it. I rock in my chair, looking out at the ranch that's been my home for nearly 60 years, the same ranch I first saw and thought was a dream. Mama was right. Kindness is how you win. It just took me feeding a hungry stranger to figure out what winning really meant. And boys, it meant everything.